Yemeni peace process refers to the proposals and negotiations to pacify the Yemeni crisis by arranging a power transfer scheme within the country and later ceasefire attempts within the raging civil war. While initially unsuccessful, the reconciliation efforts resulted with presidential elections held in Yemen in February 2012. The violence in Yemen, however, continued during the elections and after, culminating in Houthi successful grip of power and the ensuing civil war. In April, the Gulf Cooperation Council attempted to mediate an end to the crisis, drafting several proposals for a transition of power. Toward the end of the month, Saleh signaled he would accept a plan that would see him leave power 1 month after signing and provided for a national unity government in the lead-up to elections. Though some protesters ballyhooed the deal, criticizing provisions that granted the president immunity from prosecution and required the opposition to join with Saleh and his ministers in the national unity government. Opposition leaders eventually agreed to sign it. By the end of the month, though, Saleh reversed course and the government announced he would not sign it, putting the GCC initiative on hold. In early May, officials again indicated that Saleh would sign the GCC deal, and the opposition agreed to sign as well if Saleh signed it personally in his capacity as president. However, Saleh again backed away, saying the deal did not require his signature, and the opposition followed suit, accusing Saleh of negotiating in bad faith. Protests and violence across the country intensified in the wake of this second reversal by Saleh. In late May, opposition leaders received assurances that Saleh would sign the GCC plan after all, and they signed the deal the day before the president was scheduled to ink it as well. But Saleh once again decided not to sign, and a brief but tense standoff occurred on the 22nd of May when Saleh's supporters surrounded the embassy building of the United Arab Emirates in Sana'a, trapping international diplomats inside until the government dispatched a helicopter to ferry them to the presidential palace. On the 23rd of November 2011, Saleh flew to Riyadh in Saudi Arabia to sign the Gulf Cooperation Council plan for political transition, which he had previously spurned. Upon signing the document, he agreed to legally transfer the powers of the presidency to his deputy, Vice President Abdurrabbo Mansour al-Hadi within 30 days and formally stepped down by the 21st of February 2012 presidential elections, in exchange of immunity from prosecution for him and his family. On the 21st of January 2012, the Assembly of Representatives of Yemen approved the immunity law. It also nominated Vice President Hadi as its candidate for the upcoming presidential election. Saleh left Yemen on the next day to seek medical treatment in the United States, and is reportedly seeking exile in Oman. A presidential election was held in Yemen on the 21st of February 2012. With a report claims that it has 65% of its turnout. Hadi won 99.8% of the vote. Abdurrabbo Mansour al-Hadi was sworn in as president of Yemen on the 25th of February 2012. Officially removing Saleh from power, who has ruled the country for 33 years. Saleh returned home at the same day to attend Hadi's presidency inauguration. A 5-day ceasefire proposed by Saudi Arabia was accepted by the Houthis and their allies in the military on the 10th of May 2015. The ceasefire was intended to allow the delivery of humanitarian aid to the country. The temporary truce began on the night of the 12th of May to allow the delivery of food, water, medical, and fuel aid throughout the country. On the 4th day of the truce, the fragile peace unraveled as fighting broke out in multiple southern governorates. At least 3 civilians in Aden and 12 in Taiz were killed on the 16th of May. Despite the ceasefire, Agence France Presse reported that dozens were killed in southern Yemen by the clashes, including 26 Houthi and 12 pro-Hadi fighters. Around this same time in 2015, reports surfaced in the media suggesting that Oman, which is the only Middle Eastern monarchy not taking part in the coalition and has a border with Yemen, has presented a 7-point plan to both Iran and Saudi Arabia. Oman has played a vital role as a bridge between Tehran and the West in the past to help in the nuclear negotiations and thus enjoy good relations with Iran as well as its GCC neighbors. It has also been suggested that Oman was responsible to mediate a 24-hour ceasefire, although analysts doubt if Oman can help bring about more rigid negotiations. The following parts constituted the planned initiative. The UN mission to support the Hodeidah Agreement is initiated by the United Nations in Yemen. After the United Nations urged both sides to pursue peace talks in order to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic in Yemen, the Saudi-led coalition called a unilateral ceasefire beginning the 9th of April at noon to support efforts to mitigate the COVID-19 pandemic. However,